Order. Questions to the Prime Minister. Mr. Jonathan Reynolds.
Question number 1, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, I've been asked to reply on behalf of my right honourable friend, the Prime Minister, who is visiting Turkey and Auschwitz. This morning, Mr. Speaker, I had meetings with ministerial colleagues and others, and in addition to my duties in the House, I shall have further such meetings later today.
Jonathan Reynolds.
The Deputy Prime Minister last week refused to attend the autumn statement. Can he tell the House exactly which parts of that statement he most objected to?
That autumn statement was a coalition autumn statement. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I spent one day in Cornwall. Members opposite have been spending 5 years in cloud cuckoo land when it comes to the economy, because this side of the House has been clearing up the mess that they created.
Peter Lilly.
In the light of my right honourable friend's enthusiasm for devolving powers from UK government to component members of parts of the United Kingdom, does he have similar plans for devolving competencies from Europe to UK institutions?
Mr. Speaker, he will be perhaps surprised to know I even once wrote a little booklet about that very idea, that just as we have to decide to do certain things at European level together that nation-states can't do on their own, the environment, globalisation, trade talks and so on, there are certain other powers which, of course, where possible, should be devolved downwards as well.
Harriet Harman.
Well, it's good to see the Deputy Prime Minister back in his place after his important day trip during the important statement. But, Mr. Speaker, since he became Deputy Prime Minister, he's had the opportunity to appoint 7 cabinet members. Can he remind the House how many of them have been women?
Mr. Speaker, she knows exactly who the members of the cabinet are and of the Liberal Democrat team. But I would like to remind her that for the millions of women in this country, they have got from this government something they never got from her government. Better pensions, more jobs, tax cuts, shared parental leave, better childcare, more flexible working. Instead of scoring Westminster points, why doesn't she do the right thing for millions of women around the country?
To answer the question, which is unlike him, because normally when he's asked about numbers and women, he's quite forthcoming. But this is not. Let me tell the House. Let me tell the House. The answer to the question: 4.5 years as Deputy Prime Minister, 7 cabinet appointments, not 1 woman. And this is not a Westminster point. It affects what they do. So let me ask him. Since his government brought in tribunal fees, what has been the fall in the number of sex discrimination cases?
Mr. Speaker, I don't have that statistic to hand. Of course, I will. Of course, I'm very happy to provide it to her. But, Mr. Speaker, once again, she displays the way in which her and her party are in total denial about their own record when it came to women in our country. Female unemployment rose 24% under Labour. Under Labour, in 1 year, women were given a paltry 75p rise in the state pension. Scandalous, a total shame. Through our new fairer single-tier pension, 650,000 women will get an extra £400 a year from 2016. And I care more about those 650,000 women across the country than I do about anyone round the cabinet table.
I'll answer the question, since he hasn't. Since the introduction of their tribunal fees, there has been a 90% fall in women taking sex discrimination cases, including women who've been discriminated against at work because they're pregnant. Let me turn to another of his key decisions. Of those who get the millionaire's tax cut, what percentage are men?
It's quite breathtaking. It's quite breathtaking. This is she not aware that of the over 26 million people who've benefited from our tax cuts for low and middle income earners, that tax cut has disproportionately gone to women? Is she not aware that under her government the top rate of tax was 40p, 5p lower than it is under this government? Is she not aware that there are now more women in employment than ever before? That is a record of which we are very proud indeed.
And he should be aware that any gains on tax changes for women have been more than wiped out by the hit they've taken on the cuts to tax credit. And yes, indeed, I would agree with him. It is breathtaking. Let me tell the House, 85% of those who benefit from the millionaire's tax cut are men. So let's try him on another one. What proportion of those hit by his bedroom tax are women?
Speaker, since she's losing her way a bit with statistics, let me tell you, we have cut tax for 11.9 million women. The gender pay gap for women under the age of 40 has pretty well disappeared under this coalition. Under her government, only 1 in 8 of the FTSE 100 board members were women. Under this government, there are more women on FTSE 100 boards than ever before. Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party is becoming the sort of Lance Armstrong of British politics. They've just forgotten the better half of a decade of how they messed things up.
Well, I'll tell the Deputy Prime Minister in the House the reality for people who are paying the bedroom tax. 2/3 of those hit by the bedroom tax are women. Doesn't seem there's any